Hey y'all, and welcome to What I Learned Today. In this episode, I'm going to talk about conflict resolution. All right, I know a lot of people don't like conflict. And so what I encourage you to do is to write down or state why you don't like conflicts. A lot of times people don't like conflicts because they think of them as being arguments, as being disruptive and tumultuous and not leading to any type of resolution. All right. So, this is why we have to hold conflict resolution together. A conflict, for me, the simplest way is to understand that it is something that is getting in the way of me and the other person connecting in a way that I would like to, right? So we have to be curious about what is stopping us, what is blocking us from being able to connect. What is that thing, right? If we think of conflict like a brick, right? What is that brick that's in the way? And so it may be the way that I think about something, the way that I feel about something, my emotional response to something is different than somebody else's. And so when we are curious and we listen, then we can find out what the conflict is really about. And the conflict usually is just an opportunity for us to open our awareness to the fact that somebody sees a situation differently. Now, here's the resolution part. We have to go to the conflict and then work through the conflict so that we can get to a resolution. Many times people will avoid the conflict part because they don't like that turbulence, right? They don't like that disrupted feeling that they're experiencing. And so it actually never gets resolved. Many times people say, it's not even bothering me. They'll belittle how much it's bothering them. I just roll it off my back. I'm not interacting with this person. And so the conflict doesn't get resolved. Conflict avoidance is different than conflict resolution. And the resolution, sometimes you may need a mediator, you may need a third party that can listen to both sides and help both sides explain the other side to the other person. Because the goal is to increase understanding and awareness so that you can move into the resolution part. In my book, Bunny Gets Bullied, The Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny, there's a part where Bunny is explaining her encounter with the Bully brothers to her mother. And her mother says to her, she asked Bunny if there had ever been a conflict that wasn't resolved. And Bunny explained they had never been involved. I have worked in schools for over 30 years at this point, and whenever I work with middle school students who are usually about to transition into high school, somewhere in the spring, right before they graduate, late winter, early spring, there tend to be a lot of conflicts that pop up. And when I do my mediation with them, most of the time, the conflicts are something that happened when they were in second grade, third grade, fourth grade. And guess what? It was never resolved. And so many times they are trying to resolve the situation before they move on to the next phase of their life. Because let's think about it. Sometimes when we go to high school, we may go to different high schools and we may not ever see these people again. And so internally, we want to resolve this. We want to experience this peace. We want to get rid of the turbulence that's inside of us. Learning how to resolve conflicts is a skill that we need to develop. It's not that some people have it and some people don't. No, it is a skill that we all need to learn how to develop. and utilize, because we have to learn how to resolve conflicts with family members, with classmates, and then eventually with employees, with staff, with coworkers. And if you're running your own business, with other businesses, and or with the people that work with you and for you. So conflict resolution is a skill that needs to be practiced and developed. And just telling children, and I've seen this happen too in classrooms as well as with parents when it comes to siblings, there's a conflict that happens and the people say, go work it out. If they haven't been given skills to work through their conflicts, then most likely they're not going to work it out. They're not going to talk about it. One person is just going to acquiesce and say, fine, whatever, and stuff down their feelings and suppress it. And I hear some of you saying, yep, that was me. That was me. But then those conflicts are still sitting there. So I encourage you to work through your conflicts. How, you say? Well, one of the first things is you're going to want to write down what is the conflict. And as you begin writing it down or typing it out, however it is that you can see it in front of you, not just in your head, you got to be able to look at it and see and make sure the conflict is spelled out as specifically as possible. Sometimes what happens is we think it's one conflict, but the conflict is so layered, there's multiple conflicts within that one conflict. So when you write it down, when you type it out and you actually see, you can see where all of the conflicts are that you're having a problem with. Now, the next thing we need to do, so you could put that like in one column. Then the next thing we need to do is, why is this bothering you? We have to clarify it. How is it impacting your thoughts? And then we have to look at, how is it impacting your feelings? Now, here comes the other piece, and this is usually where the conflict really sits. Somehow it is impacting your values. And I'm going to talk about values um, in another segment. But you got to look at, how is this situation conflicting with your values? And then once you have that all identified, then you can look at what are possible solutions to this particular conflict. All right. So let's stop there for now. Think about a conflict you've had or in the past or that you're currently having. Work through those steps. And then, like I said, I'll come back and talk about it some more. And there's some great conflict resolution resources out there and additional videos that you can definitely look up and try out. But understand, conflict resolution is a skill that can be developed and strengthened over time. All right. Talk with you soon. Bye.